Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations. Today I'm going to be showing you some of the quilting that I'm doing on the I Spy baby blanket. The first thing that you want to do when you do freehand sewing, changed my plate. So this is my zigzag plate. As you can see, it's got the larger hole in it. I have it, when I switched to two, has a single hole, as you can see down here, right there. I've taken my bed off of my machine so that I can get closer with the camera. I've put this foot, which did not come with my sewing machine. Normally you'll get a foot with a spring on it. This is the kind of foot that normally comes. You put it on the sewing machine. This part here goes above the needle, tighten. And then as this one works, as your machine goes up and down, this goes up and down a little bit. Now mine will not move, the one that I have on here. Of the fabric that you are going to be quilting, and so this is the cotton, and this is a piece of the I Spy fabric. This is the exact kind of batting I'm using, and this is the exact background fabric. I went ahead and I put pink in my bobbin, and I have black on the top so that you're going to see it, because I'm going to try to make the mistakes so you can see the tension adjustment. Let me make sure I have this threaded correctly. All right, I do. So then the very first thing you want to do when you start sewing is I leave my tension exactly where it's at to start out with. You drop your foot down, and what your main objective right now is to bring the bobbin thread up. You can turn your wheel if you would like, and then just hold on to this top thread and pull it up. And I'm going to lift this so you can see it did come up. Now I always take my tweezers and pull it up. This normally is down, but it's not going to affect it any. Now you want to take a couple of stitches because you're going to lock it into place. Well, it'd be nice if I set my machine up. Let's start that over. Okay, because that would really be a mess. Alright, so we just started over here. So you want to prepare your machine. And the way that I prepare my machine, in this machine specifically, is I drop my foot, which is automatic, with a push of a button. Some of the sewing machines, you may have a place back here behind your sewing machine to drop it. If you do not have that, I don't have a piece, but I can tell you what it looks like. It is a little plate, and I've seen them plastic and I've seen them metal, and what it does is it snaps over the top of your feed dogs here. And what happens is that while you're sewing, your little feed dog here is going to come up to the bottom of the plate. The plate's normally risen a little bit, and it doesn't affect the sewing. What it does is it just comes up and it goes down, it comes up, it goes down. It doesn't touch your fabric. It doesn't even touch the little plate that you're putting on here, because that's made, like I said, it's got a little raise in it, so it's not even touching the top of it, but it's covering this whole area, so these bottom feed dog are not touching any of your fabric. Now I did have that in the sewing machine I gave away, which was a brother machine. I don't have it in any of these machines. They either have, this one has the automatic, my other one has the drop. The other ones have the drop down, where you just flip the button to do it. So then you would put your foot on that you're wanting to use, and you can use an echo foot. You can use this foot. They've got feet that are open, just all different kinds of feet. Whatever your machine comes with is fine. Now I'll go ahead and I'll select a utility stitch, and I'm selecting my quilting stitch. And you've got to keep in mind that if you have a machine and you've changed this plate out here, machines with the straight stitch only don't have to worry about this, just the people that have the zigzag. So if this is in your machine, this zigzag, and you've changed your plate out to not zigzag, if you do, your machine, to the best of my knowledge, will not tell you that you've changed this plate, which would mean if it zigzagged, it would break. So you're going to want to make sure when you're looking at your machine that your needle goes down in that hole. Just turn your flywheel and you can see whether it goes or not. You don't want it touching. Now, in my machine will tell me if I try to put a zigzag on here, it won't let me do it. The very first thing you want to do after you've dropped your feed dog, you've got it threaded correctly, is you want to drop your foot, and then you want to bring up your bottom thread, your bobbin thread, you're holding on to this thread right here, you're pulling on it, and here's my bobbin thread right here. I use the tweezers and grab it. And then you want to drop your foot, whoops, which mine was down. Go ahead and put your foot down, I mean your needle, not your foot. And then you're gonna go in place for a little bit because you're locking in your stitches. Now I have my stitch length, it automatically came up 2.0, but it's not going to move. I have no width stitch. Now my tension, which is the upper thread tension, not the bottom, you don't do anything with your bobbin tension at this point, okay? You're only going to do the top tension. So if you have up here at the top of your machine, you're going to, first you're going to leave it with what it is. If you remember what you're starting out with, then this would be a time to get your paper and pencil out and write it down. Then what you do is you're slowly going to, hopefully my hand's not in the way here, you're just going to move your fabric. I might have to put, there we go. You're just moving it around, and what I'm doing, which I want to show you here, I'm going to cut it off and lift it up. And that's funny, now my bottom tension's not off. But here's the bottom thread. And here's the top. Whoops, and I also came undone there, so let me re-thread it here. Okay. I need to put my foot down a little bit more. Trying to get this thing, believe it or not, to duplicate the mistake, and I cannot get it to do it. And I can't figure out why. So I changed a couple of things here. Let me see if it's going to work or not work. Let me see here. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not going to work. I cannot get it to make the mistakes that I made in the last one when I looked at it on my telephone. I was viewing the video, I couldn't even see it because it was white on white. I didn't think to use a different color. Now the darn thing won't do it for me. But since I had all those problems when I was doing my this quilting, I had the zigzag foot throat plate on. Yeah, see, I can't get it to do that. All right. So first I had this zigzag throat on. I had the polyester cone, just like I have now. I had polyester in the thread, and I couldn't get it to do anything correct without adjusting my tension. Now today, for some reason, it doesn't want to make all the mistakes, so I can't even show you the mistakes. And I did change out the color of the thread so that you could see the mistakes. So if oh, another thing that I changed out too. Let me, what did I do with the old one? Hold on one second and I will see if I can find it and I'll tell you. Okay, I found it. So this is my bobbin case. And let me see if you can see. Okay, I'm gonna lift it up a little bit here. So I don't know if you can see, there's a teeny weeny little divot right here. That means my needle hit that. Now how the heck my needle hit that, I have no clue. Then if you can see, hopefully you can, there's a little bitty piece missing right there. My needle hit that also and took a chunk out of it. So I went ahead and I replaced this. My thread was getting caught down inside my bobbin area and I couldn't bring it up. You know, at the very beginning here when I said that you want to bring your bobbin thread up and then you want to lock it into place, well, I couldn't get my bobbin thread to come up at all. So I took this plate into my baby lock dealer and I thought I was going to have to replace it, and they said, no, you don't normally replace these plates. They sand them down for you. So the gentleman there sanded all down, but I told him I thought that was the reason I couldn't get my thread to come up. And I thought maybe because of this little spot right here in the corner, but he said they all have that spot, so that's not what it was. But the foot was, you could tell that it needed to be smoothed out. I just didn't know that that's what they did to it. I mean, I don't have any tools. I couldn't have done it myself. But anyway, so after I replaced this, and maybe, unbeknownst to me, maybe this was my problem. I mean, I don't know. Now I can't get it to make all those mistakes that it was making before, which took me like half a day trying to figure out what to do with it. So I guess maybe some of those other problems. So first let me show you what is considered the quilt sandwich. This is what it is. It's the fabric that you're using. So this is exactly one of the squares that I have in the quilt. It's the batting that you use, and this is the leftover batting. And then I'm using this white fabric on the back. So you just sandwich the three together, and I've done it here. The first one that I worked on to try to get my tension, whoops, was this one here. So I did a little bit of stitches on it, and what you do is stitch on the correct side, whatever you want. So I was just doing all of it's freehand. Nothing was from a template or anything. You flip it over on the back and you look at it. Point some things out to you so you can see what I'm talking about. So let's go with this corner right here. So if you look at this flower, you can see how this stitch is pulled. I think you can. So all of these stitches that are pulled, let me see if I can get a, like right here. Gosh, let's see if I can move the camera down here. This might be better to look at it. Okay, so all of this right here, it looks like it's piano keys or it's little eyelashes. I guess that's a good explanation. They're all along here, they're all along here. That's because the tension is off. So you adjust not your bobbin tension, you adjust the top tension on your sewing machine. Then when I got it, worked with it more, then I did this one here, and I'm gonna show it to you. And I'm trying to see if there's a couple of spots. Yeah, here's a spot down here. So here's a spot here that's got it. But if you look at the rest of it, it's all regular stitches. You can see it right here on this heart. They're all just regular stitches. Right there. So all that is gone, and that's what you're striving for. Okay, so I put my tension down. So there's no tension whatsoever on here. Let's see what kind of a mess it makes. Oh, for heaven's sakes, it didn't even make a mess. Well, I don't know what. That was all my tension gone. That is bizarre, I'm telling you. Because normally my tension is on 4.6. And here I played with it. Let me see if I can make it tighter, if that would do. I'm going to put it up to the highest one. So my tension can go up to a 9.0. Let's see if that'll affect it any. Here we go. Now that's making what the problem was. At least piece of it anyway. Alright, let me see what the back looks like. Nope, it did it to the front. If you can see, let me get my little, what do I do with it over here? Hopefully my hand is not in the way. So this little thing right here looks like eyelashes. They're a little bitty coming straight out. That's because the tension is off. And normally when your tension is off, that's on the back side of your fabric, not the front side. But I increased my tension, so when I made my tension tighter, it's pulling my threads up to the front, the bobbin thread. Usually when it's loose, that's on the back side. So that'll pull your bobbin and your thread on the other side. It didn't do anything on the other side when you flip it over here. It didn't do anything. So here's the back of it. All the different places that I practiced with it, and it wasn't having any issues. But anyway, I was going to try to show you how to avoid those, but since it's not working for me, I can't do that. So I started with this left-hand corner, and I quilted around the balloons. Then I went to the next square, which is the birds, quilted around them. Somehow I shifted my quilt and ended up doing the cupcakes. So I'm going to turn it around and let you see the back side of it now. Now, though it's white, you can see the balloons there, the birds there, and here's the cupcakes. So it looks like it's turning out pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to see if I can show you how to do a little bit that I'm doing on the side. I'm going to use a ruler here, and I've brought up, as you can see, my bottom thread here. You need to bring it up so that you can lock it into place, and you just go over it a couple of times to get it started. I'm not going to worry about my tail end there, but I'm going to back it up. I needed to go a little further up on my, let's see if I can go back up there. There you go. Okay. Now let's see. Actually, let's do a straight line, slight angle here. Okay. Slowly go to the edge. And then what I normally do, since I'm going to put the trim on here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to end it right here batting, which is fine. I just give it a couple little stitches there, bring it up, cut it off, okay, and then go back over here. And if I want to keep it straight, then what I need to do is I need to line up my line on the ruler here, on the line that I just made, and then I need to, let's see if my foot is up high enough. I'm going to find out here in a second. And yes, it is. So let me get it lined up on the last line. Okay. And now that I've got it positioned where I want it, I'm going to have to bring my thread up, because every time you start over, you need to bring your thread up. As my thread is over here. Let's see, I need to bring my foot up to get my thread out. That releases your thread. Okay, and let's see if I can get it to come up. Normally you use the wheel, and mine doesn't look like it wants to come up. Let's see here. Did it come up? And oh, barely came up. I probably lost it already in my fabric. It was right on the edge. There we go. There it is right there. Okay. Usually you can just use your flywheel and do it, but for some reason mine doesn't like to do that. Alright, so then you get it lined up. You're going to go in you're going to put your needle down a couple times because you're locking it in. That's all you're doing. And so, now that I got it lined up, just come slowly down the ruler. Let's see if I can get it to move here for me. Okay, but somehow it's hung up there. There we go. Go right off to the edge and do the same thing. And that's it. That's all there is to it. And you end up with two lines, and they're spaced apart correctly because they're spaced between this line and that line. And that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to continue all the way down this one side, and then I may do something else on the other side, but I'll wait and see. Because of my poor lighting in my living room and dining room, the back looks like it's cream color. You do know that it is white, since I've already shown a picture of it. So I hope that you like this video, and I'm sorry I couldn't be more informative with what's going on with this quilt, but I did get it finished and it is ready to be given away. And for the last couple days I've been cutting out a lot of fabric trying to catch up on my other projects that I'm going to be doing videos for you. So take care everybody. Bye bye.